The situation at the southern border, well, it continues to spiral out of control. 8 months into the Biden administration, and it's all going steadily worse, not better. Illegal migrants aren't being deported. They're being flown all over the country and right into our backyards. Congressman Mark Green represents the Middle Tennessee area in the U.S. House. He's also a medical doctor and a veteran. He says President Biden is aiding and abetting all of this. Would you welcome back to the show, Congressman Mark Green? Congressman, I guess my first question, are you having fun yet up there?
Oh, my. It's, there are good days and bad days, but there are days lately that are very concerning for the future of the country. So while I love being in the fight, I'm concerned for our country.
This week was something that I was just stunned by. President Biden finally took a few questions from the press. I think 4 questions, all scripted for him as to who he was going to call on. But when someone asked him about the mess at the border, he immediately turned and said, yes, those border agents down there that were on the horses, they're going to pay for what they did. And everyone who was actually there, and anyone who knows more about horses than somebody who sits on one at Walmart and rides it for a quarter, understands that what was done was not whipping anybody, attacking anybody. It was the trained procedures.
Sure.
How does a person even stomach being a border agent when their own president throws them, I would say under the bus, but in this case, throws them under the horse?
Governor, I don't think President Biden knows the difference between a good guy and a bad guy. He castigates these law enforcement and then turns around and takes people who have broken our laws, puts them in hotels, flies them all over our country. He spat in the face of our U.S. Afghan veterans and then gave $85 billion of military equipment to terrorists.
Yeah.
They don't know a good guy from a bad guy. They want to defund the police but give billions of dollars to the Iranians. They want to kill a child a day before birth, and yet you can't test shampoo on bunny fur. It's like their minds are just they're backwards. It's backwards.
That is a great analogy, one of the best I've heard. I'm going to steal that from you.
Please do.
You know something about the good guys and the bad guys. Maybe our audience is unaware that you served in Iraq and Afghanistan. What they may not realize is that when Saddam Hussein was pulled out of his hidey hole, you were the medical doctor who first saw him.
Yes, sir.
And performed the medical exam on him as soon as he came out, the first American that he had to deal with. So this is not new to you. You understand what's going on in the Middle East. How frustrated are you when you see the Afghanistan withdrawal?
I think the biggest frustration for me is, what it means for the future of the country. Now, I'm sad about my veteran colleagues. I've had to talk to several of them who are really struggling with PTSD, who feel now that it was all for nothing. There's that piece of this that grieves my heart. But I'm really scared for the country. $85 billion worth of equipment that's going to wind up on the auction block to drug cartels. We will see those weapons. We will see those night vision goggles with the drug cartels in Latin America. Our enemy now has all of our weapon systems. This stuff will go to China to fund the Taliban. And that means that Americans will pay the price for this. And my son, other people's sons and daughters may very well have to go back to Afghanistan to fix this again. Just like when Biden and Obama withdrew from Iraq, the way they withdrew led to the creation of ISIS. That group of people that were cutting Christians' heads off, burning people alive. That was Joe Biden's fault back then. Now they've just turned around and done it again and gave them $85 billion worth of equipment.
That's pretty scary. What I don't understand, and maybe you can help us better come to grips with this, there is a budget proposal that the Democrats are really pushing, and they're going to plan to push it without any support from the other side, despite the fact they said they would never do that. They were going to have a bipartisan unity government. There's some stuff in that budget that has nothing to do with helping the average American. Can it be stopped?
I think it can. In the Senate, there are 2 senators that are actually Democrats that have both voiced that this reconciliation process for that much money being spent is a mistake. And I think they both are telling us that they're gonna push back. In the House, what disadvantaged them is Nancy Pelosi pulled a procedure and paired the infrastructure bill to the $3.5 trillion sort of second wave or third or fourth wave, however you want to look at it. That hurts her in the House, getting it passed in the House. So they have made mistakes in the House, and then you've got senators who are saying, we're not going to cooperate. I think we're going to be okay, but I don't want to create hope. I want us to keep fighting this thing tooth and nail, because it's going to be devastating to the economy.
If Nancy Pelosi is not the speaker, it's going to be because the Republicans take the House in 2022. In a very honest, candid answer, what is, on a scale of 1 to 10, your thought that the Republicans will unseat Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House by getting the majority?
Nancy Pelosi will not be the Speaker in the next United States Congress.
Congressman, you're a great doctor and a great congressman. I sure hope you're a great prophet.
I'm a prognosticator.
I hope you are a prophet, because I think a lot of us would hope that if the Republicans have at least one of the 2 branches of the legislative body, that they could be a firewall against the really crazy stuff that our grandkids and great-grandkids will be paying for forever and forever. Before I let you go, there's been an enormous amount of tension. This week, I saw something that was encouraging. Some of the Democrats pushed back against the Squad on defunding Israelis' Iron Dome. And I was so glad to see that. Are some of them waking up and realizing that they've got some people in their party that'll drive them right off the left side of the cliff?
There are quite a few who we can have conversations with, and they share their frustrations with their own leadership, especially the Squad, right, that has really hijacked the party. But then you get a vote like we had today on abortion, and every single Democrat, save one, voted to take the life of a child all the way up until birth. So a day before, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You think of that child, and I'm a physician, as you said, it gets its nutrients from the mother across the placenta. The next day, it's getting its nutrients across the breast, as it breastfeeds. And they want to take that child and throw it. There's no difference between those 2 children. One gets its nutrients through the placenta, the other gets its nutrients at the breast. And they want to throw that child in the garbage can. This is evil.
Yeah.
But that's every single one of them voted for this bill, except for one had the courage to push back against his own party.
I'm glad you're there pushing back. As a medical doctor, you know how absolutely insane that is scientifically. But I'd like to think that all of us should understand how evil and rotten this is, and what a stench in the nostrils of God to be that disrespectful toward innocent human life. Congressman, we love having you. Look forward to having you back often. Thank you for serving our country. By the way, keep up with Congressman Green's thoughts. You can follow him on Twitter at Rep. Mark Green. Also, visit his website, markgreen.house.gov.